Welcome to the DirectCurrent app for condensing a semester-long course into a workshop. That is just like 1 day or 2 days or just 3 days. Now, this is a common task that is faced by all of us educators who would like to compress our semester-long courses into a brief workshop. We would like to design a workshop based on materials we have taught over the years. And so, is there like some way we can do this that takes the hassle out of planning the workshop and the contents for the workshop, and how to deliver the workshop for varied audiences? So that's where DirectCurrent really steps in, and it provides a very streamlined interface for uh, delivering such long courses to a specific target audience with a focus and in formats that we can choose for the workshop. And it does this in a very systematic way and provides materials that cover some pre-work for the workshop. During the workshop, what are the checklists and what are the sessions, and session by session, what to keep in mind and what should be the energy level for each session, and the duration of each session, completely broken down and very easy to use for the workshop planners and for again the attendees of the workshop. What is the action plan after the workshop as well? So a series of useful documents are produced at the end of the process. So now I'll just take you through how this DirectCurrent really works that we have developed here. So basically it takes a target audience. Let's say you have some course like machine learning and you want to provide a workshop for, let's say, senior managers or executives and with like so many years of experience, so that entire context can be added here, and it can be like data scientists moving into leadership roles. So whatever, right, some phrase that captures the target audience can be given here. And then what is the workshop focus? Like practical applications, decision making for leadership, so sort of focus, hands-on, and then applications in certain domains. So whatever is the focus that can be given here to add to the context. And in terms of the format, we have a drop-down menu to guide us to choose the format, and it basically is a how many days should the workshop be and what should be the type of the workshop. Is it an intensive workshop, or is it a deep dive, or is just half day that can only be a executive briefing, right? So we have like can choose from 1 day, 2 days to a 3 day deep dive, as well as just a half day executive briefing. And we can also choose some virtual workshops. So in this way, the content, how should it be modified for a virtual versus the in-person workshop? So all that is also available to cater to different workshop design needs that the user may have. So here, let's say we have chosen all this, and I'm going to demo this using a let's say a machine learning course that for which I have developed content over the past few months for a online format. So let me just first go ahead and like put some content from the semester long course into here, especially the syllabus and what is the format of the course, all the topics dealt with the course and things like that. So I have it in some documents and we'll use it here. And you can see here some fact is given here under the guide and what files I can upload, and you can see markdown or txt, html, latex, csv, json, or even code files. And there are some more questions that can be answered here in the FAQ, and you can take a look at that. So let me just go ahead and drop some files here. And so these are from my machine learning course, online course that I've been trying to develop the content for. So let me choose a few files here. So I just chose one file, a second file, and some outline here. And then the 3 files are dropped here, and you can see that it says this is like 39,000 characters out of 52,000 possible characters. So there's the limit to the number of characters at the moment, and so there is a little bit of room for one more file. So it can has the capacity for that. So let me take this beyond week 14 and I'll just drop it here. So now I have all the files, 40k out of 52. Maybe I can add one more. So let me just like choose let's say version 1. I think that should fit in. Yes, so 50k and just about, and that is fine. So you can see the log here as we do all these actions, and it tells you the files that have been loaded, and so we can see that what will happen to the files is this 5-step process that we have here. First, the files need to be ingested, and then it will audit the files for the sort of information that is there in the files. So it will categorize the information into 3 categories. That is the information a must-know information, or is it like should know, not must know, but should know? And then finally, is it like just nice to know? It's not really essential, but it's nice to know. Right, so for executives, you don't really have to go into like mathematical foundations. So that'll be nice to know, but it's not really required to apply machine learning or interpret the results from machine learning experiments. So that is the auditing process. Then the architect comes into the picture, and the architect will design the plan of the workshop, the timing of the sessions, type of the sessions. Is it going to be a concept session, a skill session, exercise session, or a reference session? What is that going to be? So is it a process session? So there are a few types of sessions, and the architect will design the entire workshop, and the condense and synthesize will produce the documents that are necessary to conduct the workshop. So these are the workshop agenda, executive summary for the workshop, and then like a facilitator guide, and then some action plan after the workshop, and pre-work assignments that the candidates could work on and come prepared for the fast-moving workshop maybe. So all these, some 6 different documents are produced by the condense and the synthesize phases. So to get into this entire pipeline, so we just go here in DirectCurrent and say run pipeline, and let's see what happens. So now it has ingested the stage 1, all the 5 files, corpus has been assembled. So now it's trying to audit and classify the topics in the ingested corpus. So this basically involves categorizing the topics into like must know, should know, and nice to know. So that is what it is doing now. So let's be patient and wait for this process to complete. And this is going to take a minute or 2. So now it is audited, and it is also like it's working on the architecting the workshop, but you can see the results from the audit. So it gives a title, Machine Learning for Executive Leaders, and it provides a reduction in the overall course that it has managed, and provides a very brief overview, strategic introduction to machine learning concepts, and it has ingested all the concepts that are there in the original set of files. It has identified 14 plus 4 plus 2, 20 such topics, and it has chunked the topics into these themes, 3 themes, and you can see what are these topics and their theme as well here. So like for example, ML fundamentals and business value. So this is for executives. So it has rightly found these topics, even though the original files did not contain anything about business value. They were for a advanced undergraduate class or a postgraduate class. It is now like added the business dimension, because we mentioned that the target audience is executives. And you see like data strategy and quality, these are concepts. What is the time duration for this, and is it must know, and some should know, unsupervised learning applications. So you can run through the whole thing, and you'll see there are some like nice to know here, feature engineering importance, technical foundations overview, the mathematics of all this. So that is really just nice to know. And then there's action planning, and that is like must to know. And so therefore you see it gives a very nice breakdown of all the topics that could figure in the workshop, and gives a advanced like glimpse of how the workshop should go. All right, so now we are just waiting. So the architect has also completed, and you see these are the keywords for the workshop it has come up with. strategic foundation, technical literacy. That's what we really want with the executives: implementation leadership, risk and governance, business value, applied practice. And also it tells you the number of topics for each of this that is given here. And so it has a mapping of that as well. So now it is trying to synthesize all the documents that I mentioned. And so again, we have to wait just a little bit for the process to finish. So we can look at the schedule which comes out from the architect meanwhile. And if we look at the schedule, see it has now generated the entire schedule for the workshop. So there's a day 1, day 2. It was a 2-day in-person workshop. So day 1 is like foundation and the framework. What are the core concepts and what are the processes and methods that we use in ML. So that is day 1 for us. And you can see from 9 o'clock, there's a launch and there's a context and some fundamentals. Right, so and there's a data strategy, readiness assessment, and there's a problem framing. It provides the breaks by itself. There's a morning break, right, and it introduces a lunch and the afternoon break as well. And it has all these sessions and some strategic decision framework. It was completely absent in the original set that we provided, but given the orientation of the workshop that we specified, it has come up with these slight refinements to the content as well, and tells us what we are really doing there. Analyze the vendor, platform, internal development systems, decisions through case scenarios, and that's a case study session. So it categorizes the type of the session as well. Is it a lecture, is it a discussion or a case study or a synthesis or just an exercise, and provides a color-coded session type throughout. So we can have a welcome, lecture, discussion, exercise, lecture, and then we have a discussion, case study, lecture, and synthesis. And these are the checklists for all the materials. And now let's come to day 2, which is application plus integration. First, we give a debrief of the day 1. It's a welcome. Then AI, ethics, and bias, and something about a topic here, neural networks, and the building the ML business case, which is totally application, risk management, and ML governance, which is like an integration issue, implementation roadmap, phased deployment, and capstone case study analysis. It's a case study session, and so it really nicely plans out the workshop. And now you can also come to the artifacts where it has produced all these 6 documents. So now the synthesis is also complete. I can just download all, or I can just go to artifacts and download these. So I have the workshop agenda, and you can see it gives you the whole agenda and the materials checklist as well. And now we can again look at the executive summary, how to use this document, and a lot of content here that you see for the technical literacy. And for each of these sessions, model deployment monitoring, what is the framework, example, it gives all this. And then it gives also a session by session breakdown on what is a 1-sentence summary, what are some examples for the session, and what the speaker should remember about delivering the session, what should their his or her energy levels be. So all that is also taken into account and provided in separate artifacts that are generated. You can also copy this and paste it into a markdown, or just download them. For example, I can just copy here, and then I can go into my markdown reader, and now you can see that these are the generated documents, the workshop agenda, and the pre-work assignments, and then what is the material checklist, what is the executive summary, and some recommended reading. Now in addition to this, it also gives the 1-sentence summary, examples, gives the facilitator guide, and all that as well. So I think these are the core features and the end-to-end example that has been demonstrated, and I think this would work for many different situations. It also produces a lot more artifacts which are currently not shown in this particular example. So do let me know your feedback in the comments. Thank you very much.